Charles Leclerc will finally leave Ferrari. He will realize around like 5 or 6 races in, he will realize that enough is enough. I have wasted the prime years of my life. I have scored these people wins and podiums that they definitely don't deserve. I have constantly adapted my driving style to drive around the ingrained issues of the car, which was never fixed season after season. Every season there's something new that they aren't able to fix. The car is borderline illegal. They have to figure out some fix-ups, and also in execution, Ferrari are the worst. So finally, Charles Leclerc in 2026 will realize that you know what, enough is enough. I cannot be emotional anymore. I have to grow up and be pragmatic about it. Whoever dominates 2026 will dominate the following few seasons, 4 seasons. So he will definitely will try to go to any of the Mercedes power cars, or maybe Red Bull, maybe. But that's what's going to happen. And the more you think about it, the more you think that Charles Leclerc leaving Ferrari, the more you visualize about it, the more it makes sense. Because we already have news that Mercedes engine and Red Bull Ford engines for 2026 and beyond are going to be stronger than their counterparts. Definitely they're going to be stronger than Ferrari. They will be more energy efficient, on average of like 15 horsepower more. People are estimating it to be 4/10 faster per lap. That's massive. And that's at the, just from the engine, by the way. And I'm pretty sure Ferrari is going to definitely screw up other areas of car development, aerodynamically and otherwise. They were never as far as my memory serves, after the Michael Schumacher era, as I'm talking about, they were never really that stand out in terms of performance. Kimi Raikkonen was kind of like a rare case when he won in 2007, because Fernando and Lewis were kind of taking points off of each other, but at the same time, Kimi Raikkonen is Kimi Raikkonen. The point is, Ferrari don't have the best engine going into 2026, and if you look at the history, aerodynamically, they ain't that good. And even if they're aerodynamically good, you can fully expect them to bottle the execution race after race and not learn any lessons. Sometimes when the driver is called to pit, the tires will not be ready. Sometimes the strategy will be stupid. Sometimes they will pit right after the ending of the safety car. And then on top of everything, you have Charles Leclerc's bad luck. Then you got Lewis Hamilton. And the thing is, Lewis struggled a lot during the ground effect era. He is not at his prime anymore. I know he said that, I have achieved a lot of things, which is true. He's the GOAT of the sport, which is also true. And he was a very powerful, dominant force at Mercedes, which is also true. But at the same time, you have to understand that primes don't last forever. So, that is that. Anyway, we'll talk about Lewis Hamilton in a different video. The point that I'm trying to make is that the more you think about Charles Leclerc standing up and saying that, you know what, F this, enough is enough. I have spent the prime of my life with you guys. I have made you look good on circuits. I have dragged this tractor to positions where it does not belong. I have fought for positions which should not happen. And I have made everybody in this team look good in front of media. If you look at Charles Leclerc's media interviews, he's always positive, always supportive of Ferrari. He is never making snide comments. Obviously, he has been PR trained. Since Ferrari took Charles Leclerc under his wings, they have been grooming him to be the perfect little guy in front of the media. Everybody knows that. And in return, all he got is heartbreak. And right now in 2026, because last year, remember, this happened in 2025. Someone asked Charles Leclerc, some media guy, some journalist, that, hey, Charles, you were around the age group of Verstappen, you were, that generation of driver. Verstappen now is a GOAT. Like, he's a legend of the sport, no doubt about it. Now, the next generation, Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri, one of them will be world champion. How do you feel about that? And Charles was kind of like, he was hiding his emotions, and he's like, you know what, the more important thing is I want to win with Ferrari. And then the journalist clarified the question, is being with Ferrari more important than winning the world championship? He said that, oh yeah, it is. I mean, this was like the overall summary of that conversation. I created a video about this a long time ago. You can Google about it. You will find some article. I mean, that's what conversation that happened in 2025. And I'm pretty sure in the off season, Leclerc is sitting down and thinking about that. He's thinking about, hey, you know what? I'm as good as Verstappen, if not better than him. I mean, in his mind, obviously, he's thinking that he's the best. You have to. I'm better than Verstappen. Verstappen was in the right team. He had the right people around him. And, he won 4 back-to-back world titles. Almost won the 5th one, which is crazy. He's a legend of the sport. He is now doing all the other things for fun. He is doing GT3. He's going to do 24 hours of Le Mans, like, eventually. He's going to do a lot of things. He's now racking up trophies in other categories, including sim racing. And I'm here trying to figure out how to drive around the baked issues of the car to secure a P4. He must have thought about it. And now the writing's on the wall. In 2026, Leclerc will realize that Ferrari is not as competitive as they could have been. And after that, after 5 or 6 races, you'll be like, you know what, F this, I'm not renewing this contract. I'm going to talk to a different team. Now, the thing is, where will he go? That's the biggest question, right? So I would say Red Bull is probably not a practical choice because Verstappen is going to be there. Isaac Ajar is not leaving. So, Red Bull is kind of like shut down in that regard. Like, unless the Red Bull car is completely trash in aerodynamically because their engine is good. So I'm like thinking, if Red Bull have a terrible car from the chassis side, then Verstappen may choose to leave the sport. May. That's a may. Other than that, there are 4 other Mercedes power teams. You got Alpine, who need Franco Colapinto's money, and Pierre Gasly is, not leaving, so, that's kind of in a way closed. But Leclerc has more star power, so, anything can happen in that regard. So that is kind of a possibility. It depends on how strong Alpine will be on the chassis side of things, the aerodynamic side of things. Then you got Williams. Alex Albon and Carlos Sainz are locked in for the long term. I don't think James Vowles, obviously Charles Leclerc is a hot prospect. But then again, so is Carlos and so is Alex, and they have worked so hard to bring the team forward. And James Vowles doesn't seem like the guy who's going to stab his drivers in the back. Especially after all those things Carlos has done in 2025, scoring those 2 amazing podiums for Williams, and Alex Albon has been consistent and all. Then you got McLaren. You got Lando Norris, world champion. He ain't leaving. You got Oscar Piastri, great team player, great driver. They're probably not going to let him go. And this leaves us with the final option, the regime. Mercedes, AMG, Petronas, Formula One team. That's a fucking mouthful. Charles Leclerc is on a 1+1 contract. Kimi Antonelli is the future of the team. Right? This is what we can glean from the surface. And if Charles Leclerc, if George Russell drives so well in 2026 that he wins the championship, then that door is closed as well. In order to impress Toto Wolff, Leclerc needs to outdrive the Ferrari in 2026 on such a level that George Russell's performance shouldn't matter to Toto, and hopefully for Leclerc, Russell doesn't win the championship and then he can get the seat, maybe. But at the same time, from Toto Wolff's perspective, it doesn't make any sense. why will you swap George Russell, who is Mr. Consistent? And George Russell is amazing. I mean, he missed the dominant years of Mercedes, but if you give him a competitive car that is capable of winning a championship, he definitely can win the championship. I mean, he will fight tooth and nail for it. And then replacing George Russell with Charles Leclerc, who is not as consistent and can be mistake prone. Leclerc can be a little bit mistake prone compared to Russell. I mean, in the recent years, since 2023-4, Leclerc has, tightened his ways and he's much more consistent. But at the same time, Russell is a guy who is baked into Mercedes. So the biggest exciting thing, based on the prediction that I've just made in this video, is where would Charles Leclerc go after leaving Ferrari? Because this cannot continue. He cannot get effed, sodomized, race after race, season after season, hoping that the next season will be better than this one. While clearly things will never improve at Ferrari, we all know this. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you for watching, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.